What if the key to your peace, power, and purpose was simply letting go? That's the question Mel Robbins boldly answers in her new book, The Let Them Theory. At first glance, it sounds simple, almost too simple. Just let them. Let people do what they're going to do. Let them say what they want. Let them believe what they believe. But what Mel Robbins unpacks in these pages is nothing short of transformative. Because this idea, when applied to your life, doesn't just help you deal with other people, it sets you free. The let them theory is not a passive, sit back and do nothing philosophy. It's about taking radical ownership of your life by letting go of the urge to manage, fix, or control anyone else. If you're exhausted from trying to get people to treat you right, to respect you, to see your value, this book is the relief you've been waiting for. Robbins delivers her message with the clarity, humor, and no-nonsense attitude that fans have come to love, and she's never been more relatable or real. The origin of the let them theory. The idea behind the let them theory was born out of a simple yet powerful moment in Robbins' personal life. She shares a story about feeling anxious and frustrated when her teenage son didn't want to go to prom, which she had been looking forward to on his behalf. She wanted him to do the normal high school experience. When she confided in her daughter gave her the advice that became the foundation of this book: just let him. That moment changed everything. It hit Robbins like a lightning bolt. How much time and energy do we spend trying to control the choices of others? What if we just stopped? That insight turned into a mindset shift. And that shift has now become a powerful framework for life. Let them. The first half of the equation at its core, the let them philosophy, is about releasing yourself from the impossible burden of controlling others. When someone doesn't invite you to something, let them. When someone criticizes you, let them. When a friend pulls away, let them. It's not about being indifferent or aloof. It's about allowing people to be who they are, and recognizing that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. Robbins dives deep into the emotional patterns that keep us stuck. She shows how much energy we waste on trying to anticipate, predict, and manipulate how others behave. Memoir. We worry the manicurist's daughter's in-house is a compelling exploration of grief, identity, over and what the immigrant experience, and in doing so, born in 1985 to the let them theory invites you to stop to California after multiple because you can't control what Susan other people do, only you as but you can control what you allow into your mind. Her mother, your life, and was a dynamic force. Robbins establishing how adopting this philosophy doesn't mean giving up on relationships. It means giving up on controlling them. When died from the second half of the procedure, but this book isn't just about letting others be who they are. It's also about letting Xinghao yourself her death again, leaving Susan with a void filled with unanswered questions. Over the next 2 decades, about detaching Susan from others' expectations, a relentless quest to uncover the truth about her mother's life and death, your own goals. She grappled with questions about her mother's decision to undergo cosmetic surgery, forward the family's silence, let them judge, and the surgeons continue my practice despite a history of malpractice. Contrast between her investigation dictated by the opinions legal documents and living encounters guided the surgeon's family. And even consultations with including times when she felt misunderstood. Journey, Susan confronted the impossible standards of beauty over people, the weight of intergenerational trauma, her part, and the complexity behind the philosophy. While the concept Susan's is narrative is not just a personal exploration but also a broader commentary. She explains on how the human brain is wired to seek approval of the American dream, and the societal pressures that shape our identities. We live in tribes. Her candid reflections on her mother's people-pleasing, including body-shaming tendencies and chronic self-doubt, adapts to the portrayal also discusses emotional regulation and idealized figure into a multifaceted individual. The memoir also sheds light on the systemic issues within the medical field, and the desire to control vulnerable communities can be avoiding our own discomfort. The manicurist's letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary for growth. It's a powerful testament to resilience to interrupt the importance of confronting painful truths. Why do I need this person to change? Embracing one's heritage and personal history. I just let them go. Susan Liu's story is a compelling invitation to readers to reflect on their own narratives. The silences within their families. Robbins encourages us to reconnect with personal responsibility and authenticity, real-life scenarios. How to use the let them theory. What makes this book so impactful is how applicable it is to real life. Robbins includes a variety of everyday scenarios to show how the let them theory plays out. Family conflicts. Robbins shares her experience with family members who disapproved of her life decisions. Instead of arguing or defending herself, she practiced letting them have their opinions and choosing peace over conflict. Friendship changes. She talks about the natural evolution of adult friendships and how painful it can be when people grow apart. Rather than forcing closeness, Robbins encourages readers to let people drift and trust that new connections will come. Workplace drama. Whether it's a colleague taking credit for your work or a boss micromanaging, Robbins shows how applying the let them theory can help you stay grounded, focused, and professional without taking everything personally. The beauty of this book is that Robbins doesn't sugarcoat the challenges. Letting people be who they are isn't easy, especially when it hurts. But she argues that it's far more painful to abandon yourself in an effort to win approval. A guide to boundaries, not walls. One of the misconceptions Robbins tackles is the idea that letting them means becoming passive or weak. Quite the opposite. She explains that the let them theory is actually about building better boundaries. You don't have to agree with someone to allow them to have their opinion. You don't have to continue a relationship just because you've known someone for years. You don't have to fix anyone else's life to prove your worth. Instead, you create space between what people do and how you respond. You get to decide how much access people have to your energy, your time, and your heart. That's not code, that's clarity. Final message. Freedom begins within. By the end of the let them theory, you'll feel like you had a conversation with a wise, hilarious best friend who's been through the same battles and come out stronger. Robbins doesn't pretend that letting go is easy. But she makes the case that it's worth it. When you stop trying to control others, you start to focus on yourself. You get back in touch with your values, your goals, and your truth. You stop begging for validation and start creating a life that feels right from the inside out. This isn't a book that tells you to hustle harder or change who you are. This is a book that reminds you that who you are is already enough. You just have to stop getting distracted by everything and everyone else. So if you're tired of overthinking, if you're done explaining yourself, if you're ready to live lighter, freer, and more authentically, then let them. And let yourself begin again. Mel Robbins' The Let Them Theory is more than a book. It's a wake-up call, a mantra, a mindset shift. And once you start living by it, nothing is ever the same. Would you like a short promotional blog or quote to go with this summary for sharing or posting?